Well, hello everybody and welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G. John Galindo, coming to you live each and every Saturday only here on Top Shelf Oldies. I want to welcome you to the July 7th, 2018 Vinyl Treasure Show. Glad you can join Johnny G on this beautiful day. I mean, if summer was like today, and I would like it all the time, that is for sure. It was a wonderful day today and night. It's nice and cool out there the way Johnny G likes it. Hopefully you're liking it too, so sit back for the next 2 hours for some cool rhythm and blues vocal group harmony out of my collection. We opened up tonight's 50's edition with alto saxophonist Preston Love. He's originally from Omaha, Nebraska, believe it or not, but became established on the West Coast, recorded on different labels through the years, Spin, Federal, Ultra, and I just featured him on Johnny Otis's Dig label from April 1956, song entitled Dog-Faced Boy Part 1, and that's the name of it. And Part 1, Part 2's on the flip. Unfortunate that we lost Preston Love February 12, 2004 at the age of 82. He died from prostate cancer, but we feature him here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Enough of my babbling here. We open up the vocal portion with a song I used to hear quite a bit on Oldie Collector Radio, we'll call it. If you used to tune into all those cool shows on WHBI or WFUV or Fordham University, you would hear this one all the time. It's on Herman Lubinsky's Savoy label. The group, they're out of Harlem, New York, consisted of Benny Israel, David and Tafari McConnon, and lead singer Lee Witherspoon. Collectively, they were known as the Cubs. This one from September 56, the Cubs on Savoy, to open up the vocal portion. Their tune called Why Did You Make Me Cry? That's a cool tune to open up the vocal portion of tonight's Vinyl Treasure Show. They're called the Cubs. Their only release on Herman Lubinsky's Savoy record label out of Newark, New Jersey. Why Did You Make Me Cry came out September 1956. Kitty Lead there. Lee Witherspoon is his name. That is their only release as we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Pulled out a lot of flip sides from a couple of weeks ago. We have our first one here by the Robins. We go to Gene Norman's Whip Whip It label. Actually, it was the first single to come out on the Whip It label, and the tune was called Cherry Lips. It featured Grady Chapman on lead, but let's flip it over, because sound at the time in 1955-56 was the mambo sound, and that's what you get for this B-side here, and it was popular back then. We stay in 1956 for the Robins. March 1956, the Robins on Whip It, their tune called Out of the Picture.
You left me, you set me through, I'm all alone, lost without you, what shall I do? Out of the picture, out of the frame, and now when you see me, nothing's the same. Your lips are kissing somebody new. I'm out of the picture, out of the view. Smile for, I've got nothing to smile for, but I still run a mile for any wish you desire. Dreams we may have faded out of your heart now. Gone is the flame. I'm out of the picture, out of the frame, out of the picture, out of the frame. Your lips are kissing somebody new. Smile for, I've got nothing to smile for, but I still run a mile for any wish you desire. Dreams we may have faded out of your heart now. Gone is the flame. I'm out of the picture, out of the frame. Please come back to me, because I don't wanna be out of the picture.
March 1956, released there for the Robins. That's the B-side to Cherry Lips. Whip It Records, Gene Norman's Whip It record label, that led off the label. Whip It Records, Out of the Picture is the name of the tune. And that's the first of 7 on Whip It for the Robins. Now, the Crew Cuts actually would cover that song the same month and year, March 56, on the Mercury record label. But anyway, that is the better side. Anyway, if you like mambo, I do like mambo sometimes. Let's continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Let's listen to another B-side from the last 50's edition. An early side from November 53. I featured the Sparrows on Joe Davis's JD label. A song entitled Tell Me Baby featured Perry Haywood. He was on lead. Let's flip it over, give a listen to the B-side. It features the second tenor of the group. His name is David Martin. He's on lead. This one from November 1953. The Sparrows on JD. It's called Why Did You Leave Me?
I said, why did you leave me?
Why did you leave me?
Why did you leave me?
Yes, why did you leave me?
Yeah, why did you leave me?
Why did you leave me?
Well, why did you leave me?
Well, why did you leave me?
Why did you leave me?
Why did you leave me? Why did you have to go?
Well, I woke up this morning, found an open on the door. Yes, woke up this morning, found an open on the door. She said, but daddy, 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 I don't need you no more. I said, why did you leave me?
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 Well, why did you leave me?
Yes, why did you leave me?
Why did you leave me?
Why did you leave me? Why did you have to go?
said, why did you leave me?
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 Well, why did you leave me?
Why did you leave me?
Well, why did you leave me?
Why did you leave me?
Why did you leave me?
Why did you leave me? Why did you have to go?
So come back, baby, won't you please come back to me? Yes, come back, baby, won't you please come back to me? Yes, now that you left me, I'm living in misery. I said, why did you leave me? Well, 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 why did you leave me?
Why did you leave me? Why did you have to go?
So why did you leave me? Why did you have to go?
Early sides here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. We count down the music chronologically on the 50s and early 60s edition. They're called the Sparrows. That's the first of two on Joe Davis's JD record label, November 1953 release, Why Did You Leave Me? No, don't leave Johnny G, not till midnight tonight. Got some pretty cool and rare 45s to come to play here on the Vinyl Treasure Show in the next 2 hours. Let's stay in 53, but let's move up 1 month to December of 53. Posted this one up on my Facebook wall. A great two-sided 45 by this icon group from Newport News, Virginia. It's their 13th of 17 releases on Eddie and Leo Mesner's Aladdin label. Mine is that shiny blue Aladdin. Wish it was a tad better in condition, but to beggars can't be choosy, that's for sure. It features Marilyn Pierce on lead. Here are the great 5 keys from December 53, the 5 keys on Aladdin, and their tune called My Saddest Hour.
Come across
$1,000,000 if I only had one friend. Well, to sit, come here, baby, come right here beside me. Now, till then.
Those are the Five Keys. The Five Keys on Aladdin. And Marilyn Pierce, he's on lead. December 1963, My Saddest Hour is the name of the tune. The flip side's excellent also. It's called Oh Babe, a song that would later come out or be covered on Parrot by the Orchids in 55. If you know the tune I Can't Refuse, it's really the flip side on that Five Keys 45. John G here for a Saturday evening. It's all 1950s and early 60s original vinyl 45s on this cool, wonderful evening, summer evening here in New York City. Let's continue here. We move into 1954 with another flip side from a couple weeks ago. I played the B-side of this group, their debut single on Sid Nathan's deluxe label. It was called Quit Pushin', but this is the A-side. It's a ballad. It was released in January of 1954. It's by Bill Robinson and the Quails. It's on deluxe. Give a listen to their tune. It's called Lonely Star. January 1954 sound there for Bill Robinson and the Quails. Sid Nathan's deluxe record banner for that one. Lonely Star is the name of the tune. That's the first of 6 they recorded for deluxe, written by the lead singer there. As we move on here for a Saturday evening, we stay in 54 and with another Sid Nathan label, that being Federal Records. And for this release by the Platters, they would later on sign with Mercury and have all those big popish sounding hits, but they were not so successful on the Federal label. Now here's their 6th release on Federal, and it doesn't feature Tony Williams, as it features lead singer David Lynch and a female group member Zola Taylor. She chimes in. They both get writer credit on this one. Let's go to December of 54. These are the Platters on Federal, and their tune, it's called Maggie Doesn't Work Here Anymore.
My name is Maggie. The story you're about to hear is true.
Maggie, 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 Maggie. One sweet little gal, Maggie was her name. Maggie used to work, what a working dame. Now Maggie doesn't work, Maggie doesn't work anymore. Maggie made a fortune, so Maggie doesn't work anymore. Maggie had a job, she worked that day or night. Anytime she worked, she really worked all right. But Maggie doesn't work, Maggie doesn't work anymore. Maggie made a fortune, so Maggie doesn't work anymore. Work, 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 work,
Who, me? No, baby. I'm tired of pushing the clock at 8 in the morning and then going back pushing it at 3. I took $15 down the horse track the other day, put it on the back of an old gray mule, and let him walk around the corner and bring me a whole fortune. Fur coat, Cadillac car, tough crib. What else could a girl want?
Maggie had a friend when Maggie went away, but none could take her place because Maggie had a way. Oh, Maggie wouldn't work, no one else could work her anymore. Since Maggie made a fortune, no one else could work her anymore. Now isn't it a shame that Maggie went away? They up and closed the factory when Maggie wouldn't stay. No, Maggie doesn't work, Maggie doesn't work her anymore. Isn't it a shame that Maggie doesn't work her anymore? Work, 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 work at the factory. Work, 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 work at the factory. Work, 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 work at the factory.
You know what? I got it made, 'cause I'm living the life of Maggie.
Maggie made a fortune, Maggie doesn't work it anymore.
That's a December 1954 release for the Platters. The Platters, they recorded for the Federal Record Band before they were on Mercury Records. Maggie Doesn't Work Here Anymore. That's Zola Taylor, that female lead. The male lead, his name is David Lynch, member of the Platters there. And the odd thing is with this record that I have it on a bio promo that it says on the bio promo that this is their 4th record, but it really is not. It's their 6th record, so there might have been a couple in there maybe that didn't make it. Maybe a couple of those rarer ones that go for some big bucks by the Platters on Federal. But anyway, it's a kind of like a cool 45. Anyway, Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue. Got a girl group sound up next. This group from Pomona, California consisted of Elnora Hicks, Elnora Hicks, Betty Hicks, Mary Thomas, and Ruth Davis. They were known as the Sweet Teens. Here's the B-side to their debut 45, came out on the Flip label. We go to December of 55, Flip Records for the Sweet Teens. Their tune's called Forevermore.
lonely months to come? Why do you have to leave me so all alone? Because you're going to be miles and miles away. I'll think of you both night and day.
Girl group sounds here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. They're called the Sweet Teens. Sweet Teens, December 1955 release there. It's on the Flip label out of Hollywood, California, Forevermore. That is the name of the tune. Now, in 1960, group member Mary Thomas, she would leave the group, and they continued as a trio to record as the Rubiels on the Flip label. Have played that here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Then in 62, they became the Hollywood Chicks with a release on the Class label. JohnnyG's here for a Saturday evening. Hope you're digging on the tunes here. Let's continue. Here's a group out of the Windy City. They recorded 2 on Frank Evans' Ping label. This was their first. Let's send this one out to Lady Linda, currently in the Top Shelf Oldies chat. It features Ralph Johnson on lead. This one from November 1956. Ping Records. They're called the Debonaires. The name of their tune, it's called Lanky Linda.
Linda, 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 Linda Lou, Linda, 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 I love you, Linda, 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 Linda Lou. Lanky Linda, be-doo, be-doo, she's slim and tall, be-doo, 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 Lanky Linda, be-doo, be-doo, she's a real gone doll. Her waistline is small, she's sweet all around. On the dance floor, she really goes to town. Lanky Linda, you made me fall. Lanky Linda, got pretty eyes. Lanky Linda, she's a choicey bride. She's stacked up deep from her head to her feet. Everybody says she's my little treat. Lanky Linda, you might all man. Her lips are cute, sweet as jam to kiss. Her heart is warm, you know that I can't resist. Lanky Linda, you made me fall. Lanky Linda, as you recall, you made my follow through. In return, I'll be loving you, Lanky Linda, as you recall. Linda, I love you most of all.
So We send that one out to Lady Linda in the chat room. That is Lanky Linda by the Debonaires, November 1956. Released the first of two they recorded on the Ping label, P-I-N-G, Ping Records out of Chicago, Illinois, the Windy City there. Ralph Johnson, he's on lead. They'd have one more release, a later one from 61 on the B&F label, but that's a cool tune as we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Now, on the last Vinyl Treasure Show, I featured this Brooklyn, New York group's fourth release on Thomas Robinson's Atlas label, a song entitled I Belong to You. Well, here is a request for Maria Espinosa Campoy. She wanted to hear the group's third release on the Atlas label. We're going to play for you right now, Maria. This one features the dual leads of Gene Redd and Lo Murray, along with Ben Smith and the orchestra. By request for Maria, we go to March of 1956, the Phytones on Atlas, and their tune called I Call to You.
To you, my darling, in loneliness, but my voice echoes back in my heart. I stretch my arms to you in loneliness, but they fall empty and apart, just like my heart. Remember the sweet words you taught me, the words we only knew, and now you said we parted, and I can't believe we're through. I call to you, my darling, in loneliness, but my voice echoes back in my heart. Oh, echoes back in my heart. Echoes back in my heart. Ooh, echoes back in my heart.
By request for Maria Campoy there. I haven't heard that one in a long time. I like that Phytones record there, March 1956. I Call to You was the name of that one on the Atlas label. That was the intended B-side, by the way, of that 45. We send that one out to Maria Espinosa Campoy. I gotta say hello to Santi listening over in Miami. Thanks for your email, Santi. Just saw it now. Glad you enjoyed that Out of the Picture by the Robins. Cool tunes here first Saturday evening. Well, Johnny G wants to make you listeners smile as we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Back to the girl group sound and a B-side from a couple of weeks ago. We go to Zell Sanders' J&S record label. I played the A-side of this 45. It was called Where Are You Tonight? Featured a young Jeanette Baby Washington on lead. She also is doing lead on the B-side. Initially, this group, they were known as the Hearts, but for this lone release, Zell Sanders decided to call them the J-Nets. It's from November of 56. It's really a rare 45 by the J-Nets, aka the Hearts. It's on J&S. There's actually a spelling error too. It's supposed to be I wanted to be free, but they spelled wanted with an O. I wanted to be free. But anyway, let's give it a spin. These are the J-Nets. Those are the J-Nets, a young Baby Washington on lead. She wrote that tune also for the J-Nets, a.k.a. the Hearts, November 1956. I Wanted to Be Free. That one there, J&S Records out of the Bronx, New York. Johnny G spinning original vinyl 45s. Hope you're digging on the cool tunes here just as much as your host is. And we continue with yet another flip side from a couple of weeks ago. This time we head out to Philadelphia, PA. I played the B-side of this group's second overall release, a song entitled It Happened to Me. But this was the A-side. We go to Bernie Lowe's Teen label. It features John Kelly on lead. It's with Butch Ballard and his orchestra. This one from 1956. They're called the Revels on Teen, and their tune is called So in Love.
Please don't say I'm through. All my I cherish your love now. I'm leaving the field of your charms in my arms has left me so lonesome and blue. Please don't tell me to go, because I love you so. Just give Oliver a chance. I don't like the thought of you leaving. I cherish your love now. I'm leaving the field of your charms in my arms has left me so lonesome and blue. Please don't tell me to go, because I love you so. Because I love you so.
Sounds of 56 here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. They're the Revels. They're out of Philadelphia. So in Love is the name of the tune. It's on the Teen record label. Now, this 45 on the Teen label is probably their second most expensive 45. Their hardest record by far, even much harder than that one, is the release on the Atlas label. There was one on eBay that I needed. I wanted it. But, I do have a limit on what I spend on 45s. And I did bid that limit on that 45, but unfortunately I lost it because somebody wanted it more than I wanted it. Anyway, John G here for a Saturday evening. Let's continue. Let's go back to Brooklyn, New York, as I featured both sides of this group's debut single in the last couple of weeks, but on a later press with more instrumentation, which came out on the Savoy label, but originally the record came out on Winley. It was You backed with Must Be Falling in Love, which was their debut single, and they were known as the DuPonts on that single, but they would later change their name to the Chesters when they signed with Bess Berman's Apollo label, and the result was this 45, written by the lead singer. His name is Anthony Gourdine. Anthony Gourdine, he wrote the tune. It's with Sammy Lowe and the orchestra. They were known as the Chesters. This is the intended A-side from December of 57, the Chesters on Apollo. The tune is called Lift Up Your Head.
I know
December 1957 release there, Bess Berman's Apollo Records out of New York City. Those are the Chesters with Little Anthony. Anthony Guardine, he's on lead there. Lift Up Your Head is the name of the tune. That was the intended A-side. Sammy Lowe and the orchestra, they are backing him up there. Now, later, of course, they became Little Anthony and the Imperials. Now, Apollo would re-release that this 45 in 1961 under the name Little Anthony. They were no longer the Chesters. They called him Little Anthony, and even changed the title of that song. They changed it to I Know. So if you own that, or you went to Times Square Records and purchased that 45 back in 1961, you'd have it on the yellow Apollo label. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as we continue. We continue with another flip side as we go to George Braxton's Fox label. They were out of Detroit, Michigan. I featured side one of this record a couple of weeks ago. It was called Gone, Gone, Get Away. And the lead singer, he was future Motown hit composer. He was the lead singer. His name was Lamont Dozier. Now, he was doing lead on side one. Now, on the flip side, it's a dual lead which features him and Eugene Dyer. This one from July of 57, they're called the Romeos. Fox Records, it's called Let's Be Partners. July 57 release there for the Romeos. I didn't hear no dual lead, Charlene, on that. Maybe the falsetto in the background. That's possible. The Romeos there. Fox Records, Let's Be Partners. That's the first of two they recorded on that Fox label. Some cool tunes on that Fox label. Not easy to find those records out of Detroit. As we move on here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, I played a request for George Tompkins a couple of weeks ago. He wanted to hear Sammy Hagan and the Viscounts, the second of three they recorded for Capitol Records. I played a tune called Don't Cry. The 6 sides they recorded for Capitol were all arranged by guitarist Jack Marshall and saxman Plaz Johnson. So let's give a listen to the flip side before I file it back down in the No Humidity basement. We go to October of 57 for Sammy Hagan and the Viscounts. It's on Capitol. This is the B-side, a song entitled Wild Bird.
Doo-bow, doo-bow, wow, wee-oo-wee-oo-wee, wow, wow, wow.
You're just a wild bird, meant to be free, and no one can tame you. That's how you wanna be. You're just a wild bird, doing as you please. When somebody loves you take off like a breeze. I hold you tight and the stars begin to shine. But tomorrow night, will you still be mine? Yeah, why be a wild bird flying all around? Please tell me that you love me and you're gonna settle down. Settle down, wild bird.
Like that tune. Both sides are great on that record. Sammy Hagan and the Viscounts, the second of three on the Capitol record label. October 57, Wild Bird is the name of the tune. Now, Sammy Hagan, he was also the lead of the Premiers, recorded on the Dig record label, and also recorded as Little Sammy. I played that Rare 45 about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Also recorded as Count Yates. I'll get that one on the Regis label on a future Vinyl Treasure Show as we continue here. And let's stay in California. Actually, the next 3 records coming up are all out of California. First up, a 45 on Lyle Griffin's Hip label, HIP Records. It's out of, what is it, Venise. Is that how you say it? How do you say it, Danny? Venise, California. Is that how you pronounce it? with the Johnny Otis Orchestra, and there's a group backing her up on this one, and some think that it's likely the bass voice of Robert Byrd in the background. He was from the Hollywood Flames, but this gal, her name is Faye Wilson. She also wrote the tune. We go to April of 57. It's on Hip Records. It's Faye Wilson, song entitled Playing Me for a Fool.
Well, baby. Well, child, now.
My man does me wrong. Yes, he's using me for a tool. He's breaking my heart to pieces. much more. It's causing my heart misery and pain. It's gonna drive me insane. He goes out at night, leaves me all alone. I'm so lonely. Wish he'd call me on the phone.
Well, baby.
Using me for two.
Oh, child, now.
Breaking my heart to pieces and playing me for a
That actually sounds more like Richard Berry to me than Robert Byrd, but maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? But anyway, that's Faye Wilson and a group, April 1957, on the Hip record label, Playing Me for a Fool. I think the flip side's also great record on that one, so you got to wait till next week to hear that side. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, let's go back out to Hollywood, California, this time back to the Flip label. Posted this one up on my Facebook wall. You can check the photo out for this group. They're called the King Bees, not to be confused with a group called the King Bees on KRC, completely different group, but a great West Coast sound. Can't find much about this group though. This one from June of 57, we go to Flip Records, the King Bees with their tune. It's called Give Me Your Number.
Oh, little girl, you are so divine. Little girl, won't you please be mine? Give me your number and let me call sometime.
Sound of California here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. They're called the King Bees. King Bees' June 1957 release, Give Me Your Number, is the name of the tune. It's on the Flip record label out of Hollywood, California. Great West Coast sound. And we have one more West Coast sound as we stay in California. This time, go to Larry Mead's Vita label. Several weeks ago, I featured the B-side of this 45. The group known as the Titans played a song called Rhythm and Blues. That was the side, and it featured Curtis McNair on lead. But let's give a listen to the intended A-side. It features a different lead. His name is Charles Wright. This one from January 1957. Vita Records, the Titans with So Hard to Laugh, So Easy to Cry.
Yes, it's over. No more balcony seat, no more dancing with the gang all with me. It's so hard to laugh, so easy to cry, now that we've said goodbye. Yes, it's over. No more curfew to break, no more memory. We must hurry and make it so hard to laugh, so easy to cry, now that we said goodbye. Dreams won't die, though you go away. I'll be loving you wherever you are. Baby, I ought to make it stay, but it's mighty hard to cling to a falling star. My fallen days are over and beyond all recall. Just a line of no more, nothing at all. It's so hard to laugh, so easy to cry, now that we said goodbye. Dreams won't die, though you go away. I'll be loving you wherever you are. Baby, I want to make you stay, but it's mighty hard to cling to a falling star. My smiling days are over and beyond all recall. Just a line of no more, nothing at all. It's so hard to laugh, so easy to cry, now that we said goodbye. Now that we have said goodbye.
I like that tune there. Sounds of California here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Those are the Titans. Features Charles Wright on lead for that one. January 1957 release. So hard to laugh, so easy to cry. Yes, that is the truth. It's on the Vita label, Larry Mead's Vita Records out of Pasadena, California. I think that label is from. Gotta say hello to Ramtown Mike, driving around there in Tennessee. Ramtown Mike, say hello. Hope you're digging on the tunes here as we continue. Now, on the got a cough drop in my mouth. On the last 50s show, I featured the debut 45 for the wife of a Gary U.S. sponsor. Her name was Lucy Rivera. It came out on George Goldner's End record label. The song was called Make Me Queen Again, a nice tune that I really do like. Prior to that solo release, she was the female member of the Love Notes that recorded on the Holiday record label, United, Tonight, If I Could Make You Mine. They do great records on the Holiday label. But she left that group for a solo career. Her real name was Lucy Cedeno. Now, The idea for the B-side of that 45, her release on George Goellner's End label, was based on the Beechnut Gum advertising catchphrase, "Iffic," which of course meant Beechnut Gum was terrific, so they came out with this word "Iffic," which was the sponsor of the Dick Clark Saturday Night Beechnut show that maybe some of you used to watch back in the late 1950s, went all the way through to I think 1960 or somewhere toward the end of 1960, and all these groups would go on and sing their hits of the day. There's a lot of them posted on YouTube, which are actually pretty cool. I know they're singing to their records, but still to see the original group members. But anyway, if you remember looking at in the audience, you saw the kids with these Iffic buttons. And I think that inspired this record, this B-side by Lucy Rivera, which Iffic stands for terrific. And I think it's Alex. I think you like this record, if I'm not mistaken. But let's give it a spin. We move into 1959, February 59, for Lucy Rivera on End Records, and a B-side, a song entitled Iffic.
Feel so terrific. Now I understand what thrills me when you touch my hand. Baby, it's the Iffic. Ooh, it makes me feel so terrific. Well, scientists agree that I'm meant for you and you are meant for me. So honey, don't you fool around. Just give me a little loving and settle down. No, it's a plain to see. Oh, baby, what's the thrilling me? Feel so terrific. Well, scientists agree that I'm meant for you and you are meant for me. So honey, don't you fool around. Just give me a little loving, settle down. Oh, it's a plain to see. Oh, baby, what's the thrill in me? Woo, it's the Iffic. Ooh, that makes me feel so terrific.
That's the wife of Gary U.S. Bonds. They're still married today. Too bad she doesn't perform though. With I don't know, Gary U.S. Bonds, does he still perform? I don't even know. Anyway, Lucy Rivera is her name. February 1959. Actually, Lucy Cedeno is her real name. Iffic is the name of the tune. It's the flip side of "Make Me Queen Again." Came out on George Goellner's End record label. She would have one more release in 1961 as Laurie Davis on Guaranteed Records, like an answer tune to the Miracles Shop Around that she does. Anyway, as we continue here, Johnny G's here for a Saturday evening. We are in the year, actually that was 59, I think, or was it 58? Maybe I typed it wrong. But let's continue here, and 45 out of Connecticut. Actually, it's on Marty Kugel's A Click label out of Connecticut. And around 1958, he became involved with Mr. George Goellner as Goellner was distributing the Click label for Kugel in 58. But this group, they're from Springfield, Massachusetts, and now on an earlier Click release, they backed up the Mitlow Sisters on a record. I think it was a cover of a Nutmegs tune, if I'm not mistaken. But then they had their own release, which is a pretty rare record. I posted this one up on my Facebook wall. You can check it out. It features Major Branch, not Major Lance, but Major Branch on lead. He also co-wrote the tune. We go to July of 58 for the Dream Tones on Click, and their tune's called Love in the Afternoon.
Shooby-dooby, it's love in the afternoon. Two lovers in enjoy the scene. That love was made too soon. They called it love in the Don't cry, the one you love tells you she's found enough. Just sit under the silvery moon and call it love in the Let that love that stole my heart and bring those memories of you. Don't take my heart, don't take my love, I died. It's love in the afternoon. The moon gazing at the sun. The sun gazing at the moon. They call it love in the
Rare 45s here for a Saturday evening. Those are the Dream Tones. July 58, Major Branch. He co-wrote the tune, and he's the lead singer. Love in the Afternoon is the name of the tune. Marty Kugel's Click, a record label for that. Now, that's the same group. They had two more releases in 1959 on Express and the Astra record labels. Let's move on here. And this next group, they are from the South Bronx, New York. Their debut single came out on Julius Dixon's Timely label. They followed it up with the one I'm featuring on the Brunswick label, and then they had one other on Cub Records in 59. This is a cool novelty up-tempo written by Julius Dixon and Beverly Ross. They're called the J-Tones. I think for gasoline, I think I'm paying $2.07, I think, a gallon in New Jersey, and that's one of the few states that they pump it for you. You can't pump your gas in New Jersey, so when I go from New York into New Jersey, I always pick it up on the Garden State Parkway, but I should play this one when I'm passing that gas station. But anyways, from July 58 on Brunswick, they're called the J-Tones, and their tune is called Gasoline.
I was out of gasoline, 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 So Red Chief warning in the reservation said you're 800 miles from a gasoline station. Taking a good look from over rough terrain. Me got no time for low octane. Me heat, Big Chief.
to you, gasoline.
Maybe I was wrong, Alex. Maybe it was more like 306 and not $2 is way too low. It's got to be 3. It was up at like 3.54. It was even higher. It was almost $4 a number of years ago. But anyway, I think it's been going down. But anyway, there you go. Gasoline, the J-Tones, July 1958 on Brunswick Records. And remember purchasing this 45. Anybody ever purchase records from a guy in Ohio? Goes by the name of Charles Butch Ford. He was selling his collection. I can't remember. Sometimes I got the list, and he told me all his records were purchased out of Val Shively or from Val Shively, and I said, well, that's interesting because I've never purchased any records from Val Shively. Believe it or not, I have not. Maybe there's one that Val would argue with me about, but through my collecting days, I'm one of the few guys that have never purchased a record from Val Shively, if you can believe it. Jai G here for a Saturday evening as we continue here. Featured the B-side of this 45 on the last 50's edition. The group is out of Philadelphia, PA. They were called the Vernals. I played the up-tempo side. It was called Why Can't You Be True. I also like the ballad A-side of this 45. Too bad it has very poor fidelity, but that's the way it goes. Let's give it a spin. June 58, the Vernals on Rulu. Rulu Records, R-U-L-U. Their tune is called Raindrops. Those are the Vernals. The Vernals, that one there from June 1958 on the Rulu record label, a song entitled Raindrops. Now, that's the same group that recorded for the Arnold label in 1961, but they changed their name slightly from the Vernals to the Varnels. There you go. Johnny G here for a Saturday evening as I have to turn on this CD player, and there it goes. Turned it on. As we continue here for a Saturday evening. And I mentioned Julius Dixon with the J-Tones a couple of records ago on the Timely label. Well, he also owned another label. It was called Alton Records. And he had a top 40 national hit on the Alton label. Maybe some of you know a tune, instrumental, called The Clouds. It's an instrumental group called the Spacemen, who were really a studio group comprised of Panama Francis, Haywood Henry, Babe Clark, and Sammy Benskin, who was the featured piano on that song. He played the piano and that was featured in that song called The Clouds. But anyway, here they are again with another group known as the Drivers. I think that's what it is. Hence the name The Drivers and the Spacemen. That's what this group is called. It's from 1959. We go to Alton Records and a tune that Julius Dixon, he wrote the song. It's called Do Do.
Do do. So, don't you know? Oh, do, baby, please, please, please come on home. Don't you know? Don't you know? Don't you know I love you so? Do, hey, do, I need you so. Don't you know? Oh, do, baby, please, please, please come on home. Don't you know? Don't you know? Don't you know I love you so? I miss the pretty little things you used to say and do.
That's an interesting record, The Drivers and the Spacemen. I wonder who those drivers were. Anyway, excuse me, those were the Drivers and the Spacemen from 1959, and somehow involved with Julius Dixon in the New York scene there. Dodo is the name of the tune. It's on the Alton record label. There's a rare girl group record on that label too, the Taylor Tops maybe, I don't know, but I'll play that one on a future Vinyl Treasure show. As we continue here, have another rare girl group sound up next. It's on Eddie and Leo Mesner's Aladdin label. I posted this one up on my Facebook wall also. You can check it out. Although these gals, they were out of Detroit, Michigan, and somehow they were introduced to Berry Gordy Jr., who would produce their only record on Aladdin Records. Now, this group consisted of Raynoma Mayberry and her sister Alice Mayberry, along with Marlene Nero and some other gal by the name of Marnie. And they were called the Cute Teens. This one features Raynoma Mayberry on lead. We go to June of 59. These are the Cute Teens on Aladdin, and their tune, it's called From This Day Forward.
From this day forward, we are bound to each other like a baby to his mother. Our love will last in our hearts. From this day forward, you're mine, you're mine, you're mine, you belong to me. With this ring upon my finger, our love will last always. The tears in your eyes show that you realize that our love grows stronger. It's here to stay, so keep on believing. Our hearts are deceiving. Keep on believing. Come what may, from this day forward, you're mine, you're mine, you're mine, you belong to me. With this ring upon my finger, our love will last always. Oh my baby, from this day forward, you're mine, you're mine, you're mine, from this day forward. You're mine, you're mine, you're mine, from this day forward.
Rare girl group sounds here for a Saturday evening. They're called the Cute Teens. The Cute Teens, June 1959 release. From This Day Forward came out on Aladdin Records out of California. Featured Raynoma Mayberry on lead. Now, Raynoma, she was the founder of the Raber Voices, and she went on. The Raber Voices went on to back many of the early Motown acts like Wade Jones on that cool record he does, Insane. Now, Raynoma, she also went by the name of Miss Ray, because in 1960 she married Berry Gordy Jr. I think they've since divorced, but she was married to the Motown major icon there. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, we stay with the girl group sounds. I found this one in the box and initially pulled it out for this special St. Patty's Day show, but pulled out all records on green labels, but I didn't play it, but we'll play it right now. It's on the Green Dice label, owned on paper by Johnny Louise Richardson, but it was her mother, Zell Sanders, who really pulled all the strings, and for this girl group, it was their fifth and final release for Dice Records, and I would say their most common, by the way. It features a lovely Barbara English on lead. We go to December of 59. They're called the Clickettes on Dice, and their tune called Because of My Best Friend.
Because of my friend, you made me my best friend. You said goodbye to my true friend. I'll never be happy again. No, 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 never again. Oh, my best friend, you broke my heart. After you promised that we because of my best friend, my true friend, I'll never be happy again. Oh, no. I thought she was a friend I could trust, but now, oh yeah, now I see so plainly that she wasn't a friend at all. She took you away from me, oh, my best friend. You believe because of my friend. You said my true friend, my best friend, I'll never be happy again, again, again. Because of my friend, because of my friend, because of my best friend, because of my friend, again. Well, I trust my friend. No, no, no.
Those are the Clickettes. Barbara English on lead there. The Clickettes with Because of My Best Friend. Dice Records, December 1959 release. As we continue here, I gotta get another cough drop here. I can't hold back the coughs. Let's continue here, and we move into 1960 now with an odd 45 on the Corina label. I'm guessing it's out of the state of Illinois, as this song comes out really on two different labels. First came out on Corina, which I'm featuring, and then it came out on another label. I think it was PS Records. They were known as the Five Chances, but that was in 61. In 1960, it came out on this Corina label as by Tommy Collins, but it looks like on my copy, somebody crossed out the name and put in Frank Sims for some reason, so I don't know what the reason is for that, but let's give it a spin. It's from 1960. We'll call it Tommy Collins on Corina. It's called Need Your Love.
I'm in love with someone as me, and I wish that someone was near. Although we are miles apart, I still have you here in my heart. Yeah, never, never go. Why? be nice. But now that you're here, everything is alright. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, oh yeah, yeah. Never go why? Oh yeah, I need you so. Just let me hold your hand and Johnny, oh yeah, walk along down that promised land. Oh baby, honey child. Oh baby, oh yeah, I still love you.
Sounds of 1960 here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. It says Tommy Collins. Somebody crossed it out and put Frank Sims. It's on the Karina label. Need Your Love is the name of the tune. Now, the flip side of this Karina is called Land of Love. That is not the flip side of the other release on the PS label as done by the Five Chances. It's called Is This Love? But they're both flip sides of both those records are excellent, by the way. Anyway, John G here for a Saturday evening as we continue. Excuse me, folks. And we stay in 1960 with a request from Mr. George Tompkins. He requested this ultra rare 45 out of Detroit, Michigan. I posted it up on my Facebook wall, and I have no info on this group except that it's an RCA custom press, and that the writer is Herbert Perdue, and the label is called PMP. We're going to send it out to George Tompkins. They're called the Delicados, DELI-CADOS. It's from 1960. It's on PMP. It's called Now I've Confessed.
Now I've confessed that I love you, darling. What more can I do? Oh, what a crazy old feeling. Funny, my dear, but it's true. You've got me gazing at moonbeams, counting the waves in the sea, whistling Caruso's old love song. People are laughing at me. Here we are in a garden.
Now I confess.
The moon steals the day.
Now I confess.
But when I touch your lips, dear, the moon just fades away. But if you ever should leave me off in the blue, you would go. I'll come to you with my arms wide open. Now I've confessed, dear. You know.
By request for George Tompkins' very rare record, Warren, You Have Expensive Taste, if you like that 45. The Delicados, the name of the group, 1960 release, Now I've Confessed. It came out on the PMP label out of Detroit, Michigan. Now, the flip side appears to have been reissued, a song called Granny Baby. You can get it on the Norton label, but not that side. Not that side, unfortunately. Anyway, John G. out of breath. I ran down 3 flights of stairs in that with that record playing to get some cough drops here, so I have to apologize for my coughing. As we continue here, we're in the year 1960. Back out to California, we go to the Falcon label. At least I have this one on Falcon. It came out on an earlier label. The record involved with lots of George Mottola involvement here. Now, after the Shields of You Cheated fame disbanded, Mottola resurrected the Shields name for 2 sides performed by this San Bernardino based group known as the Pentagons. Now, the 45 was issued on 2 different labels. First, Transcontinental, which I needed on that label, and then it came out on the Falcon label. I'm playing the intended B-side of the Falcon 45. It features Tony Allen on lead. I think Tony Allen is on this side. From April of 1960, give a listen to the Shields on Falcon, a.k.a. the Pentagons, a song entitled The Girl Around the Corner.
She's got the cheeks on me, the girl around the corner. What she do, and I'm crying. I love her so. The girl around the corner, she's got the cheeks on me, the girl around the corner. What she do, and I'm crying. I love her so. The sun awakes my baby, and the moon puts her to sleep again. Just like an angel, she's all so sweet to me. The girl around the corner, she's got the G's on me. The girl around the corner, what she do, and I'm crying. I love her so. The sun wakes my baby, and the moon puts her to sleep again. Just like an angel, she's all so sweet to me. Around the corner, she's got the cheeks on me. The girl around the corner, what she do, and I'm crying. I love her so.
Those are the Shields, a.k.a. we'll say the Pentagons, but Tony Allen, I think he's on lead for that one. The Girl Around the Corner, I featured it on the Falcon label, released in April of 1960. Now, the flip side is You'll Be Coming Home Soon. That one features Joe Jones. He's the lead of the Pentagons that does To Be Loved. If you're familiar, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with that tune. As we continue here for a Saturday evening, John G spinning original vinyl 45s. Have another flip side from the last Vinyl Treasure show as we go to Houston, Texas for this. Played the A-side by a group called the Romancers on the Marquee label. The intended A-side was called Meet Me at the Altar. Had a lot of disturbing noise on the styrene press. I looked for another copy of this, but I don't know if I want to pay that much for this 45. I didn't pay a lot for this one, but it featured, Meet Me at the Altar featured Wilbert Burleson on lead. So let's flip the 45 over. Now, my copy on the B side, I noticed that somebody glued a little sticker over the Wilbert Burleson name featured, and it's changed. It's like a typed name, Nathan Davis. So I checked other copies of this. You know, if you go to Images or you go to 45 Cat or Pop Psych, and I didn't see them on any of the others, so I don't know what the deal was with that. But anyway, we're going to give it a spin. I apologize for the distortion on some of the styrenes here, but I think this one gets better. But it's from September 60, The Romancers on Marquee. This is the B-side. It's called Take Me to Paradise.
Take me to paradise. Take me to paradise.
Take me to paradise with you. Take me to paradise, please do. I know that's where angels like you come from. I know that's where dreams like you come true. Please do. I'll forget how lonely I was and the think of the thrill that it is to be in paradise with you.
They're called The Romancers. It features, I'm going to say, Nathan Davis on lead. September 1960, Take Me to Paradise on the Marquee record label. That is crappy styrene vinyl. You know my feelings toward styrene 45s as we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Up next is my big hit of the night. I rarely, I should say, play hits here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, but it's nice to hear them from time to time, especially if it's a song you really remember and really like, as I do like this next group out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I've been featuring their sides over the last few months, and this was their second biggest hit on the Colpix label. Their first was, of course, Blue Moon, a big #1 hit for them, and actually the flip side's good too, Goodbye to Love. That has a great harmony to it, but this was their second 45, and one that my aunt purchased in the fall of 1961, as I do love both sides of this record. But it features Cornelius Harp on lead. We go to September of 61. You know, I'm talking about the Marcells on Colpix and their hit of the standard tune, a song entitled Heartaches.
Watch out!
Here we go again.
Yep, 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 worp, worp, worp. Heartache, heartaches, them,
Yep, work, heartache. Loving you with only heartache. Your kiss was such a sacred thing to me. I can't believe it's just a burning memory. Heartache. What does it matter how my heart breaks? I should be happy with someone new, but my heart aches for you. Yep, work, heartache. My love for you meant only heartache. I can't believe your love is just a burning memory. What does it matter how my heart breaks? I should be happy with someone new, but my heart aches for you. Yep, work, heartache.
Hits here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. That 45, or that song, number 16 on Cashbox, number 7 on Billboard, a big number 3 on WMGM here in New York City. Also WSPR over in Springfield, Massachusetts had that one there as a top 3 record. Those are the Marcells, September 61. Their second biggest hit, song entitled Heartaches on the Colpix record label. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, and I have another request for George Tompkins. Wanted to hear a group called The Masters, who prior to recording this song, they were known as the Belltones on the whole record label, but they were from Jamaica, Queens, consisted of Robert Brown, Dickie Williams, Herb Rooney, and David Banks, and George Cotman, who wrote the song, and he is the lead singer on this 45 as we go to George Gollner's End label. And by request going out to George Tompkins, we go to November 1961, The Masters on End with A Man Is Not Supposed to Cry.
If your girlfriend treats you oh so cruel and tells you that she is through with you, you may wane, you may blink, well, but come on, take time to think that and if you read that good old daily news about our wedding in July, you may, but come on, take
problems are. You may, but come on, take time to think that there's no cause to cry.
By request for George Tompkins there, those are the Masters from November 61 on George Goldner's End record label. The A Man Is Not Supposed to Cry, that's a cool tune there. They would have one more release on the Lesage label. I actually have that pulled to play, so stay tuned for that Lesage 45. We are now in Vinyl Treasure Overtime, so go for a couple more 45s here. And over the last few weeks, I've featured both sides of this next group's first single on the Joanne label out of California. I think last week I played Stay With Me, the B-side, or the week prior I played That's the Way I Feel. Now, I have the B-side to their follow-up. It's with Ray Shanklin's orchestra. They're called the Marquis. It's actually Terry Brown and the Marquis. He's on lead. It's from June 61, Joanne Records. It's called I Need a Helping Hand.
Such a long, long time, trying to find peace of mind. Oh yes, I don't understand. I need a helping hand. I need someone to take my hand and lead me on. Oh yes, Lord knows I don't understand, but I need a helping hand. Oh yes, I do, and I need someone to cry on when I'm feeling blue. I need someone to talk to and tell my troubles to. Lord knows and I need someone to keep me on my feet, and someone to cry on, someone to call mine, someone to pity me. I just want someone to try to understand me. That's all it takes, is just a little bit of understanding. Come on, baby, just let me put my arm around you, or just let me get a little closer to you, sugar. Hey, I got something working for us, baby. Oh, come on, hey.
That's on the Joanne label out of California from June of 61. Those are the Marquis, actually Terry Brown and the Marquis. That's the B side of the 45. Their second release on Joanne, I Need a Helping Hand, is the name of the tune. That's the same group that recorded 3 on the Warner Brothers record label, the same Marquis group. John G here in Vinyl Treasure Overtime. Let's continue. We move into 1962 now with another girl group sound, and the only release for this group, they're called Marie and the Decors. Have no info on this group except that the writers who penned both sides of this record, Barry Darvell and Robert Duke Leonard, they are the writers of this tune as we go to Cub Records, September 62, Marie and the Decors, and the song is called Queen of Fools.
Queen of Fools, oh, I'm a queen of fools, I'm a queen of fools.
I have a mint copy of that floating around somewhere. That was my 10-cent copy of that 45. Those are Marie and the Decors. That's a good tune. Actually, both sides of that record are good. Actually, sounds like Bobby Smith and the Dreamgirls. Anyway, Marie and the Decors, their September 62, Queen of Fools is the name of the tune. Came out on the Cub record label, a subsidiary of MGM Records. Two more 45s to go before Johnny G signs off here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Let's head back to California for another request for George Tompkins. Although this group first started singing gospel in New Orleans as the Arpeggios, Arpeggios, and they relocated to Los Angeles and had one release on the Aladdin label. They were called the Arrows. They had a release in 1958. Annie Mae, I think, was the tune, and but then they changed their name back to the Arpeggios and recorded a few demos. Now, one of those demos was called Rejected Love, which came out on Ferdinand Fats Washington Moving label, but they changed the name of the group to the Convincers, and it features Willie Gibson on lead, and this is by request for George Tompkins. We go to March of 62, the Convincers on Moving. The song is called Rejected Love.
Boom, 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 boom.
You spurned my love. You broke my heart, heart, heart. You spurned my love. You broke my heart, heart, heart. You spurned my love. You broke my heart, heart, heart. You spurned my love. You broke my heart, heart, heart.
When you spurned my love, you broke my heart. Only heaven above knows how did this start.
Falling peace in my heart. Whoa, and if you do something for me,
Can't you see what you've done to me? I'm nothing but your clown. Life is drear without you. Cannot do without you.
the sun was clearer, and only when
Once you said you loved me, and you settled down just to kiss and hug me, not to run around. So don't be deceived, only believe I love you.
you spurned my love. You broke my heart, heart, heart. You spurned my love. You broke my heart, heart, heart. You spurned my love. You broke my heart, heart, heart. You spurned my love. You broke my heart, heart, heart.
By request for George Tompkins, March 1962. What a great tune that is. The Convincers. Convincers on the Movin' label. Rejected Love is the name of the tune. Willie Gibson, he's the lead singer. And they would have one more release on the Aries label as the Arpeggios. That was an unintentional misspelling of their name. It really should have been the Arpeggios, but they messed it up on the label. And a song entitled I'll Be Singing. Well, that's going to do it for Johnny G and the Vinyl Treasure Show. I want to thank you for joining Johnny G, listening to original vinyl 45s out of my collection. You want to get in touch with Johnny G, send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. Been recording this one on the Ustream broadcaster. We'll probably do 14, Wait, 1421. Only 3 more on Ustream before they end this free service. Then I got to look for another one. So I'm going to be testing some on YouTube. So I'm going to be playing around for a little bit, but we still have 3 more shows to go. So you could also stream or download the shows on my website, vinyltreasures.net. But I'll have this webcam on my YouTube account. You can check it out, Johnny G's Vinyl Treasures. And you can send me an email at vinyltreasures@AOL if you have any requests and anything about the show. I really appreciate to get some emails if you like the show, etc. So it always makes us DJs feel wanted. Yes, it does. But we're going to close the show tonight, and we're going to out of the year 1962 for this group from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I don't know anything else about the group except that they're doing a cover song that was first recorded by the Penguins on Mercury in 1956. And we're going to send this one out to George Tompkins, but it's a little bit of a faster version than the Penguins tune and a slightly different title. It's from 62, The Cupids on Chan Records, a song called Troubles Not at End. Now, the Penguins version of that was called Troubles Are Not at an End, but it is the same song, and that's the closer tonight. That's going to do it, folks. Please tune in tomorrow evening starting at 9 p.m. for my buddy Dave the Rave and his Relics and Rarities show. Tune in to all the Top Shelf shows here during the week starting at 8 o'clock. Some cool shows here you'll all enjoy, and I'll be back with you next Saturday. I'm actually going to be at a graduation, so I'm going to have to prepare the show earlier, but I will be back before 10 p.m. to do the live show, and want everybody to have a safe and happy week, and hopefully we're going to have a nice, cool week here in New York City. But I'll see you next Saturday starting at 10 p.m., 10 to midnight right here on Top Shelf Oldies for the Vinyl Treasure Show with Johnny G. Just want to say, everybody, so long.
While I stroll down the windy street, walking and wondering where can she be? I know she's gone, and I know my troubles are not at end.
Troubles not at end.
Day by day, all I do is worry. Day by day, all I do is worry. I know she's gone, I know my troubles are not at end.
Troubles not at end.
Still I wonder where my life will end. Nobody knows but the Lord up above. I'm so tired of building this way, my dear. Day by day, all I do is worry. Day by day, all I do is worry. Where would my life end? Where would my troubles be at end?
Not at